and welcome to this week's TV Rundown, the TV news web series hosted by someone who admittedly got his haircut about 4 episodes too late. What were you thinking, you maniac? Did you go out the house like that? This week in TV, the Sci-Fi Network opted not to order more of their science fiction miniseries Ascension, which averaged around 1.5 million viewers over its 6-episode run. They did, however, renew 12 Monkeys for a second season, which so far has averaged around 0.8 million viewers. Don't get me wrong, I think 12 Monkeys is the better show, and evidently so does Sci-Fi, because otherwise, in a true, real thing that definitely happened, the first episode of new CSI-type show titled CSI Cyber appeared online just 2 days before the pilot was set to air. In an event that categorically was not a painful and obvious promotional stunt, it seems cybercriminals, who inexplicably cared enough about the new CSI spin-off, they just had to have their dose of poorly researched procedural nonsense 2 days early, managed to acquire a copy and leak it online for the whole world to not enjoy. Recently, several of the biggest streaming services have been sniffing around Sony like two overly friendly dogs passing on the street, as Sony are finally looking to make a deal with the service for the rights to stream classic Seinfeld-led sitcom Seinfeld. Yahoo, Amazon and Hulu are all reportedly showing interest, which may leave some of you wondering where the big red Goliath are in all this. Not interested, apparently. Reportedly, the rights for Seinfeld will be worth around $100 million to the buyer, and after spending all their Orange is the New Black money on Friends last year, which reportedly set them back $118 million, Netflix would understandably rather save their money and spend it on, well, more Orange is the New Black. If I'm being honest with you, I think they got ripped off because I spent way less than $118 million on this. So I think Netflix just need to learn to bargain hunt a little bit better, if I'm being honest, but that's just me. Fox Television is reportedly developing a series based on the Expendables film franchise. More proof that the TV industry isn't built on supply and demand, just supply. You didn't ask for it, but here it is anyway. You know, the Expendables, those movies you go see because it, puts all those action stars that you loved from the past together and puts them in these like crazy expensive and elaborate action sequences. It'll be just like that, but only now it'll have, none of the actors, or now I couldn't think of any of those elaborate action sequences due to, television's natural budget restrictions. Oh, who cares about the content? I've seen the box office figures. As long as it's called The Expendables, people will tune in. For a bit. So, enjoy hearing about it for months during a massive advertising push, only for it to be quietly brushed aside once it airs and fails to draw a large enough audience to justify its lofty budget. Fox have already hilariously declared this an event series, which is becoming their default defense when they feel they're taking a risk. Announce it as a one-off event series, and if it works, they get to be the heroes that bring it back, and if it's a failure, they don't have to be the network that cancelled yet another thing. This week, AMC figured they hadn't quite shown their Walking Dead spin-off, Fear the Walking Dead, enough support, and ordered a second series around 5 months before the very first episode has even been broadcast. Look, I'm all for TV networks supporting their shows, but from a business perspective, this seems like an insane move, even to me. I mean, what's the rush, AMC? Why not wait and, make sure it doesn't completely tank before you throw all your money at it? What do you gain from renewing so early? A head start on pre-production? Is that really worth the risk of committing to it? I mean, I know The Walking Dead is money in the bank, and the risk may seem low, but AMC haven't exactly put their best foot forward with this one. The description makes it sound like a less interesting version of the show I'm already watching. Plus, simply adding the words Fear the before the existing title doesn't exactly scream originality. The sad thing is, if it works, I fully expect to see even Madder Men and someone else Breaking Bad go into production in 2015. It's like AMC are so confident about this show that they aren't even trying anymore. But if it doesn't demonstrate it's unique enough to stand on its own 2 feet creatively, people won't watch a product that runs purely on the fumes of its big brother, and this early second season pickup is going to seem like a pretty silly decision. Over the last few weeks, we got to sit back and watch the internet's comment sections collectively lose their minds when it became clear that ABC were looking to cast African American actors in the lead roles of their upcoming Uncle Buck remake, with comedian and actor Mike Epps landing the title role. Some of the complainers were claiming to be Uncle Buck purists, but many of the commenters ultimately began to sound a little bit like a different kind of purist. But if I'm honest, I think people are asking the wrong question. They should be asking what the f*** ABC are doing remaking Uncle Buck in the first place. And for the record, there are only 3 reasons a casting decision can be labelled as a bad one. The first is that the actor is terrible, such as Hayden Christensen in Star Wars.
Me, a master. I'm overwhelmed, sir.
The second is if it's a good actor miscast in a role that doesn't suit them at all, such as any time Keanu Reeves has been cast as a human being. It's a role he simply is not convincing in. Or the actor is a complete twat and is very difficult to work with, such as me in, well, just about everything. Who made the drink? Was it you? How about you? Alright, both fired. Get out. Yeah, still drinking it. Because I'm thirsty. The point is that skin colour has about as much to do with how good or bad a casting decision is as my cat had to do with writing this video. Can you please help? Please, just write something. Just one segment. I've got nothing for this week. Don't turn your back on me! Interestingly, some have suggested that this casting decision may have been influenced by Fox's success with Empire, which also features a large number of African American cast members. I personally hope this isn't true, because if it is, it shows a fundamental misunderstanding of Empire's success. Empire is doing well because it's a well-written drama with an extremely talented cast, strong production value, and a fantastic composer developing brilliant music. To suggest anything different is nothing short of an insult to the work that goes into the show. And on that slightly bitter note, that is everything for this edition. Please do remember to subscribe and come back in 2 weeks' time for more of the TV Rundown. No, this is the pen. This is what you write with.